For the final video, we're going to be looking at sex chromosomes and sex-linked genes. So many animals have a pair of sex chromosomes, usually designated as X and Y, that determines an individual's sex. So in mammals, for example, males have XY sex chromosomes and females have XX. The Y chromosome has genes for the development of testes, and so without the Y chromosome, ovaries will develop instead. And so this is just a diagram showing you the differences in the X and Y chromosome. Now, of course, this is to say this is for normal inheritance. But remember, as we've talked about before, there are many different things that can affect the inheritance of sex chromosomes. You can have individuals born with multiple sex chromosomes. But for a normal inheritance, male and females here, either male has XY and the female will have XX. I just noticed this is A. This should be an X. Huh. Notice something different, wrong in there. Showing you that yeah, that is odd, very odd. This should be an X as well. So so that the female will inherit an X from the father, an X from the mother, and then a male will inherit the X from the mother and a Y from the father. Here. Huh. Interesting problem there. So chromosomes, sex chromosomes can be different for different species. Grasshoppers, roaches, and other insects can have what they call the XO system, in which O stands for the absence of a sex chromosome, where females are usually double X and males only have just one X chromosome. In certain fishes, butterflies, and birds, they have the ZY system, where two Z's are males and a ZW is a female. And this is just showing you the differences between male and female here in grasshoppers. And then like here for a chicken, males would have the two Z's, where females would have the ZW. Some organisms lack sex chromosomes altogether. In bees, for example, sex is determined by the chromosome number, in that females are diploid and males are haploid. So males are haploid, females are diploid. And then in some animals, the environment actually determines the sex of the offspring. For some species of reptiles, the temperature at which eggs are incubated can affect the development of whether they become male or female. So this has a really impactful discussion about global climate change and how it can impact the sex ratio of species. An example of that would be turtles, where sex is determined by the temperature in which the eggs are incubated. So the higher the temperature, the more females that there are, compared to males, which require a lower temperature. And so will there ever become a day where the temperature is so high that you don't really produce any males, you only mainly produce females? That could have a devastating effect on the species altogether. And so let's talk about some uniqueness that goes along with the sex chromosomes, and that is sex-linked genes. And sex-linked genes are located on either the sex chromosomes X or Y, where the X chromosome carries many genes that are unrelated to sex. So the inheritance of white eye color in fruit flies is an example of a sex-linked, X-linked recessive trait, where some fruit flies will produce red eyes, some will produce white. And it has to do with whatever alleles are present in the female. So if you are a female and you carry two dominant alleles, then all your offspring will have the dominant trait. It doesn't matter if the male is carrying the recessive allele. However, if you are a female and you are carrying one of the recessive alleles, then you are able to pass along the recessive trait to your offspring. So here you would have the 3-to-1 chance or probability where 25% of your offspring could be born with the white-eyed allele. And then if you have two parents that are carrying the recessive allele, then you have a 50-50 chance of either carrying the dominant or recessive traits. This same thing, this same sex-linked pattern can also be seen in human disorders due to recessive alleles, and they're mostly seen in males rather than females, because a male will receive only one X chromosome. So they are either going to receive either a dominant or recessive allele because they only have one X chromosome. And so you're going to inherit whatever the mother has. So a female must receive both recessive alleles from both parents to be affected, which is going to be less common compared to just receiving one allele if you are a male. So some recessive sex-linked human disorders include hemophilia, which is basically hemophiliacs lack one or more of the proteins that are required for blood clotting, so they have excessive bleeding. It takes them longer to clot their blood. Something probably very common among males is red-green color blindness, which is a malfunction in the light-sensitive cells of the eyes, the proteins that build the rods of your eyes, eye cells. Anyway, and then there's muscular dystrophy, a condition characterized by the progressive weakening of the muscles and a loss of coordination. And there are many other examples of sex-linked recessive disorders. This here is showing you hemophilia in the royal family of Russia, where Queen Victoria was a carrier of the hemophilia traits, and so it's being passed down through through her line, where males are either normal or they are hemophiliacs, and Alexis was a hemophiliac. The Y chromosome does provide clues about human male evolution, because the Y chromosome is passed intact from father to son. It's a direct inheritance from your father, and so you can trace that back through history and time. The same can be done for females with the mitochondrial DNA, but for Y chromosomes, mutations in the Y chromosomes can reveal data about your shared ancestry and your relation, I guess, to other individuals. Genghis Khan here is notorious for being very, I guess the word, prolific throughout his life, and that he mated with many women and had many children. And so I forget the actual percent of Asia, but overall, 5% of the males in the world, 5% of men in the world are actually related because they can trace their Y chromosome to Genghis Khan. So yeah, that's very, very impressive. Just think how large and how many people are in the world, and 5% are due to Genghis Khan.